I've been coaching people for 15 years to help them with relationships and largely with breakups when relationships didn't work out. And it's been fascinating now being a matchmaker in addition to that and putting people together and then more importantly, getting the feedback the next day and hearing what they have to say. First of all, it's clear to me that a lot of people just don't know how to date. Whenever I'm out somewhere and I tell somebody that I'm a relationship coach, they're always like, ooh, can I ask you something? Because it's not easy. Dating's hard and it's uncomfortable and most people are not good at it. And especially if you haven't dated in a long time, you are certainly not good at it. So give yourself a break. If you're really nervous before you go out on the date, visualization is a really powerful tool that think of some fun little things that have happened to you, that fun little stories that you can tell. You don't need to lay out your whole life story. An open book is not sexy, right? There is absolutely no reason to lay out your whole life story on a first date because if you're never going to see the person again, who cares, right? Like think of it that way. This is a first date. You don't need to tell your date everything about yourself because if you're not going to see them again, it doesn't matter, right? So be charming and interesting. And if you have fun little stories to tell, like visualization, I think is very powerful. Before you go out on the date, if you could think of some really fun facts about yourself, right, that you could share in an entertaining way, then you can change the whole energy of the date. And you can create attraction where there might not have been some. Because studies show that when someone likes you, it's easier to be interested in them. And honest to God, you can create chemistry where there isn't any if you decide that you want to. And, by really making eye contact with somebody or like leaning across the table or lightly touch their arm if they say something can really shift the energy in a positive way. Because all too often I hear clients say like they felt like they were on a business interview where they're talking and getting along, but there's just no chemistry at all. And I think that's very easy to fall into when you're nervous. You need to inspire them to want to see you again. So think of some things before you go out, really visualize about telling a fun story that can really lighten the mood and get your date laughing. And give yourself an assignment to find out who your date is. I always say, when in doubt, ask a question, right? Most people do like to talk about themselves. So be a little inquisitive and ask questions about where'd you go to school? Do you have kids? Do you have pets? Where do you go on vacation? What was the last book you read? What's your favorite movie? Like just kind of nonsense questions, right? But that's how you get a sense of someone's personality. And when you're asking questions about their relationships, which is a no-no, right? The only thing you need to know about their last relationship is when it ended so that you know how available they are. But I think by asking lighthearted questions, you lighten up the mood, right? By asking things about, or sharing. I saw a great movie the other night. Don't tell the whole plot of the movie. No one wants to sit and hear that, right? But like, you can talk about sports, you can talk about travel, places that you'd like to go, restaurants that you've gone to, all sorts of light, get to know your taste and style kind of conversations, I think are perfect for first date. If you have a whole big, long, complicated family or past, that is nothing to be talked about on a first date. If you're all in your head thinking, oh geez, do they like me? What should I say next? What do I do? Then what your date is feeling is that you're not interested in them, right? You need to really give your date your attention and get out of your head so that you're showing them that you like them. And I think a common mistake is that you ask a question and then while the person's answering your question, you're in your head thinking about what you're going to ask next, or you're evaluating what you just said and was that okay? And like, oh geez, what did they think of that, right? Like, so many reasons that you can get in your head that sends a message to your date that you're not interested. So try to really stay present in the moment, focused on your date, finding out about your date, and telling yourself, yeah, this is attractive, this is attractive, this is attractive. Find the positives. And don't put pressure on yourself to fill open space, like pregnant pauses, as they call it, right? Like that awkward where you're like panicking of what can I say? are never as long as they feel in the moment. I mean, look, I do live TV, right? And I've had moments that I felt, oh geez, right? Like the very first time I was on Good Morning America, Diane Sawyer turned to me and was like, Donna Barnes, let me bring you in here. And I all of a sudden got this really dry throat, and I was just trying to find my voice, right? And I felt like that was an eternity. But when I watched it back, it looked perfectly normal. It didn't look like there was any kind of pause at all. So get out of your head, right? If you're feeling like, oh God, I need to say something, like silence is okay, right? In that silence, though, be attentive. Just take a moment to linger eye contact and maybe lean into your date a little bit, right? I think body language can send a whole lot of messages, right? And unfortunately, when we're nervous or scared or have anxiety, our body language is saying that we're not interested in somebody. So get out of your head, which will stop the anxiety, right? Subtle, deep breaths also calms anxiety. And give yourself an intention to find out about your date and hear what they have to say, and really stay in the moment and put your attention on your date. And I think you'll feel much more comfortable. And it's really more important what you think of your date, right? It doesn't matter what your date thinks of you if you don't like them. So assume that your date is going to like you, and get out of your head and put your attention on your date and find out if you like your date.